Arabian Sea in the south. Balochistan covers the 44% of Pakistan in geographically, but only 5% in terms of population. Balochistan is rich in mineral resources and natural wealth such as oil, gas, copper, gold, granite, marble, coal, etc. All these specifications have become a threat to the lives of the Baloch people instead of being peace and prosperity to their lives, as the state have resorted to worst kind of violence against the ordinary people to suppress their birthrights. We are here to inform the international community about the deadly situation in Balochistan. Baloch people are suffering the worst kind of human rights violation under the forceful Pakistani rule in Balochistan since 1948. Military operations, enforced disappearances, and extrajudicial killings have become a matter of daily life. Not a single day passes without a military offensive. Someone being abducted or a bullet-riddled dead body being found. The state has imposed different forms of violation in Balochistan, including state terrorism and religious extremism. We condemn religious extremism in the region and especially in Balochistan, as it has already become an open secret that Pakistan is the only exploiter of terrorism in the whole region, and that it is financially supporting the jihadist groups who are destabilizing the entire region. The bloodshed of the Shia minority in Balochistan cannot be justified at any cost. Pakistani army's armed proxy groups are behind such barbaric actions to confuse the world regarding Balochistan liberation movement. Pakistan is the factory of terrorists and spreading them to worldwide. Baloch people strongly oppose Chinese invention in Balochistan, Iran-Pakistan gas pipeline project, and China's involvement in Gwadar port are against the Baloch will, and we do not accept them. We consider China and Iran as crime partners of Pakistan and Balochistan. China has been actively involved in the loot and plunder of the natural resources of Balochistan since past many years. It has been playing a criminal part in looting resources from Sui, Sendak, Rekudik, and other parts of Baloch homeland. China is exploring the Sui Dera Bugti areas for more oil and gas reserves, where major military offensives are carried out by Pakistani army against the innocent civilian population of the area to compel them to migrate from the area and pave the way for the plunder of the natural resources. Planting landmines have become a routine exercise of the Pakistani forces and their proxies in the area of Dera Bugti that killed hundreds of innocent, including women and children. They also set to fire the houses of innocent Baloch and, after looting them, pollute the sources of drinking water such as ponds and wells with deadly poison and force the inhabitants to migrate from the area. It is the fifth major military operation underway in Balochistan, and they have claimed hundreds of thousands of lives of innocent Baloch people, and more than 500,000 have migrated from the ancestral areas to other parts of Balochistan, Sindh, Punjab, and more than 10,000 have even migrated to Afghanistan because of threat to their lives from the state. Some parts of Balochistan, such as Dera Bugti, Kohistan-e-Mari, Mashke, Mastung, Panjgur, and others have been made no-go zones, and these areas are under continuous assault of forces where they indiscriminately target the innocent Baloch civilians population and bomb their houses. No international and local media is allowed to visit those places. On March 17, 2005, Pakistani army killed 80 people in a carpet bombardment over Dera Bugti city, where majority of the victims were women and children. Prominent Baloch leader and my grandfather was the main target of the Pakistani state forces, but fortunately he survived in the attack. He was demanding the basic rights for the people of Balochistan politically, and he had politically struggled for years to draw attention of the civilized world towards Balochistan, but he was forced by the state to leave his hometown. He went to the mountains along with hundreds of his comrades and stood to defend the right of his people. Shahid Nawab Akbar Khan Bugti was martyred along with 32 of his tribesmen by the Pakistani army in Operation on 26th August 2006 in Trathani region between Dera Bugti and Kolu. Fighter jets and chemical weapons were used against the aged Baloch leader. Enforced disappearances and extrajudicial killings in Balochistan are one of the worst in the entire world. More than 15,000 political activists, students, teachers, lawyers, intellectuals, hence people from all walks of life have been abducted by Pakistani state forces and secret agencies within past 1 decade. 800 plus bullet-riddled dead bodies of those abducted have been found so far, while both the list of victims of enforced disappearances and extrajudicial killing is rising very fast. Even those who protest against these atrocities face the same fate. Recent examples are Baloch Republican Party Vice President Anwar Baloch, Riazgul Bugti and Khudabakhsh Bugti, who was participated in a protest demonstration at the Broken Chair at UN on June 2nd, 2013 to highlight the state atrocities in Balochistan. But after 2 days, the dead body of Zahir Baloch, son of Anwar Baloch, was found in Karachi. He was abducted by Pakistani forces along with 2 others in Panjgur, Balochistan on April 24, 2013. On June 23, 2013, 8 family members of Khudabakhsh Bugti were killed during a military offensive in Dera Bugti when they were holding a ceremony in memory of deceased ones. Refugee house of Riazgul Bugti in Afghanistan was attacked by personnel of Pakistani secret agencies with a hand grenade in Spin Buldak area, where his elderly mother and teenage daughter were wounded. Prominent human rights organizations like Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International has repeatedly documented the state atrocities and human rights violations committed by Pakistani forces in Balochistan, but nothing has been done to stop those abuses except mere lip services and paperwork. Unfortunately, the international community have turned a blind eye to this inhuman tragedy in Balochistan. International media has limited itself to the straight narration, and it doesn't try to gain access to explore and report the real situation of Balochistan. We demand to the United Nations to immediately take action to end the sufferings of Baloch nation. We urge the international community to step forward and support the just and lawful struggle of Baloch people for their birthrights, including the right to self-rule, the right of self-determination, and complete liberation against illegal occupation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So maybe everybody of you will take the floor. Maybe I give you.
If you would like to explain a little bit about the recent earthquake and
thousand or more than 1,000 people died. So I'm sure there is no support from Pakistani government. It will not be any support for those people. They lost their lives in Balochistan. So this kind of earthquake are happening every time in Balochistan, but we never had any support from Pakistani government. So people are still suffering with this kind of situation in Balochistan, especially Nawab Brahumdagh Bugti already explained. So we are fighting against of those things because Baloch are suffering with so many problems, and any media are not allowed in Balochistan to go there. So we are requesting United Nations international community to go to Balochistan and find out why we are not allowed to ask for our independence or for our right. And every single day, Baloch are missing, and Baloch are abducting. Pakistani state forces, especially the frontier corps, they are abducting Baloch people and taking them to their torture cell and torture them very badly. So many people has got mark in their body, and totally human rights abuses in Balochistan. So they are torturing Baloch people and sending their dead body to their families. It's happening yesterday, today, and every single day. So we are requesting international community, especially United Nations, to go to Balochistan and see what's the situation going on. So again, I would request to United Nations to go to Balochistan and investigate the Baloch situation, because Baloch are still suffering, and every single day Baloch are missing. So thank you very much.
Yes, maybe we have more fresh news from this earthquake. Could you explain what happens, what are the region concern, and how many people, how many dead people, and so on? Do you have more accurate figures about that, or not yet?
At the moment, we're just hearing from the news from inside the Balochistan. Some of them, they said casualties gone more than maybe 8,000 to 10,000. But the dead people is about between 800 to 1,000 pounds until now, we heard. But about more than maybe 4 villages has been destroyed, houses has been dumped, and there is no help of Pakistani government. Whatever we're doing ourselves, Baloch people, to provide the food and the medicine to them. And that's why we ask the United Nations as well to support our nations. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there other questions from the assistants, or I don't know? Just for a second question from me, we received last 10 days ago another group from Balochistan for a press meeting about human rights violations. So could you maybe tell more about the NGOs or the political parties, the situation, combating for human rights in your province, in your region? Just to have,
Yeah, I want to give you a brief idea that in Balochistan there is, as Mansoor already told, that no NGO is allowed to work there.
Okay.
So, and
it was religious, I think.
Sorry?
No? Okay. From outside the country.
Exactly.
Yes,
to help the Baloch people who who are suffering from the army operation. And it's already mentioned in the Human Rights Watch yearly report. I don't know, I think 2010 or 2011 yearly report, that nobody is allowed to visit to help those people who are affected. And international media is also not allowed. Local media is not allowed. So you can imagine what is going on there. In Syria, in other parts of the world, you have access to go visit and to know not exactly what is happening, but you have idea, because in some places you have access. In Balochistan, you don't have any access. We are demanding the international community and United Nations to visit. If you are not allowed by Pakistani security forces to visit there, then please raise this problem internationally and help the Baloch people.
Yes. still we have to insist. There was a meeting here, a press conference about Balochistan 2 weeks back, and since there was no written invitation, I can't remember from memory who was speaking, but there was among else noted journalist Tarek Fatah, a Pakistani. He's not a Baloch, but he's a friend of Balochi people, I understand. So for us journalists, it's difficult to know what is the positioning of both groups coming and addressing the media here within 10 days or 2 weeks.
Exactly, I don't know about them. I think you can ask the same question to them. They will answer and clear themselves. They belong to which organization or which party, but we belong to the Baloch Republican Party. I am the president, and Mr. Mansour is president of Baloch Republican Party, United Kingdom, and Anwar Baloch, or the vice president of Baloch Republican Party, information secretary, and we all are living in Switzerland as a political refugee for last. I'm living for last 3 years, 1 year, and 5-6 months, and Vice President Sardar Masood in UK, and we have an organization on the ground in Balochistan. We have also organizations in European countries to gather the Baloch community and strengthen the cause. So
now I have a second question. Obviously, the issue of Balochistan, in spite of its importance and of the horrors taking place there, is not very appealing to the media. We are not many journalists here, for a reason which might be worth having a look at. But on the other hand, there was this earthquake, precisely as mentioned. It has no direct relation, of course, with the attitude of Pakistan vis-à-vis Balochistan, but it may be an opportunity for precisely communicating with NGOs even more than with the media, because a lot of NGOs or even large organizations like International Red Cross are committed to help to bring support in case of earthquake. And for them, it's also an opportunity to see the situation there. So what has been your attitude, your campaign vis-à-vis NGOs in general, and more specifically NGOs and international organizations involved in related to disaster management? Because this could be a unique opportunity to have them speak out, or to get the reaction, or to have them pressure the Pakistani government, or to have them go on site and be able to report.
Exactly, we are trying our best to cooperate with all the NGOs. We are already in touch with Amnesty International and ICRC, and they are also cooperating. They have some problems, what I mentioned before, with Pakistani security agencies, because they want to visit some areas, not all Balochistan, and so they have some difficulties themselves. So you can ask, maybe, and they can explain themselves what type of difficulties they have. And from our side, we are already cooperating with them. We will cooperate with them, and we hope something comes out in this situation. What happened recently?
Okay.
And maybe a third question. Balochistan is on the border between Pakistan and Iran, which means that Baloch also have problem with Iran, and some people say that the situation is even worse in Iran than in Pakistan, but here we hear mostly about the Pakistani atrocities. So what information can you give us about the overall picture?
Yeah, of course. In Balochs in Iran, they are getting the same treatment, whatever we are getting from Pakistan. And which is worse, which is less, I cannot explain. But in Balochistan, I explain everything because I belong to the Pakistani part of Pakistani occupied Balochistan. So, of course, they are also suffering from Irani barbarism, and we are Iran is also helping Pakistan to crush the Baloch. Iran helped Pakistan in 1970s and gave gunship helicopters to suppress the Baloch struggle in 1970s, and this time also Iran is helping. Iran and China too. China is exploiting all our resources. And as I mentioned in my statement that they are trying to forcing some areas of population to migrate from one area to another area, to force them and to exploit the resources. So the Chinese and Iranians are like, both are shareholder with the Pakistani all criminal activities. We believe it.
So,
add something?
Yes. Do you have any hope that the situation could change with the new president of Pakistan? Do you have a kind of contact? Sorry. Yeah. Did you hear the question? No. I was wondering, do you have a contact with the new president of Pakistan? Do you think that there could be a chance that that something new happen in a new dynamics inside the country?
Yeah. First of all, I want to, sorry for my bad English. If you didn't understand anything clearly, you can ask me again and again, because I'm living in Switzerland for last 3 years and learning French, so that's why. Yeah. Of course, for a new prime minister, we don't have any hope, and the situation is totally different. You know, if there is someone new coming, it doesn't mean that it will affect the Baloch situation, because they don't want the Baloch people. They only want the Baloch land and the Baloch resources. They don't, minus Baloch people. So and the dominant part of Pakistan is Punjab. And Pakistani army belongs to the same province. Pakistani bureaucracy belongs to the same province, and the Pakistani main economy belongs to the same province. And they don't want to give the Baloch resources to Baloch people. So they are looting the resources for last 50 years. So it's impossible, like they will solve the problem. If they are ready to solve, of course, we are happy to negotiate and solve the problem peacefully. Of course, we are ready to. It's not our side. They are killing us, they are bombing us, and they are treating us like slaves for last 50 years. Why not?
Do you think that there is another possibility? You are an independent party. Is there a kind of solution, possible within the Pakistan itself, within the borders of Pakistan?
No, we don't think so, because we are totally different from Pakistani. Our culture is different, our language is different, we are a totally different nation, and so it's very hard. How can we stay with another country? Why Pakistan? Then why not India? Why not Afghanistan? Why only Pakistan? So it's, I think this option must be given to Baloch people. They have to decide what they want. They want to be part of India, they want to be part of Afghanistan, they want to be part of Iran, or they want to be totally independent like they were before 1948.
There was a Balochi state before 1948, or you were independent at that time? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as I mentioned that when the British left Pakistan, India, so they announced the independence of India, Pakistan, and Balochistan.
Ah, okay.
So after 8 months, Balochistan was occupied by Pakistani army.
Okay.
Forcefully. So from that time, so we are struggling for independence, and from 1948 until now, there have been 5 major military operations, and we have tried so many times to solve the problem through peaceful political means. And Pakistan was always trying to suppress the Baloch people through forcefully.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
There is a major Pashtun population in Balochistan, including in Quetta. So are they also with you in this struggle?
No, and they are not part of the struggle. You said that including Quetta, there are some population of Pashtun population in Quetta, and but the rest of the Pashtun areas like Ziyarat, Zob, Lorelai, etc., etc. So they are it's up to them if they want to be part of Balochistan, and also Balochs are ready to be part of this coalition. It's okay. So if they want to be part of Afghanistan, Pakistan, whatever they want, the land belongs to them, and I think it's their choice.
Do they live in separate areas?
Sorry?
Do they live in separate areas, Pashtun areas and Balochistan areas?
For like now?
Yeah.
Of course, yeah, of course. We are not living in the
it's
same
not a
district.
mixed population.
No, totally different. Yeah. It was Pakistan, when they occupied Balochistan, they put some Pashtun areas in Balochistan. Also, they put some Baloch population into Punjabi provinces to divide the Baloch in Balochistan, in Pakistan, in occupied Balochistan. To put some Baloch population in Punjab, some in Sindh, and to put some Pashtun population in Balochistan and make the province like this is Balochistan. So to make minority in their own province, they were trying to, we are already minority, the 4 or 5% of Pakistan.
So the area you are demanding as independent Balochistan is the same as present day state of Balochistan or different?
It's totally the same, but also we are demanding the ethnic Baloch areas, who are also part of the, now in Punjab, some are in Punjab, some are in Sindh, so they are also the part of the struggle. But in Balochistan, there are Pashtun areas. We are not demanding those areas because those areas doesn't belong to us.
Oh, sorry. Because in this moment, in Quetta, because there were so many Pashtun people, they migrated from Afghanistan, they came live here. Before, there was not big population of Pashtun people in Balochistan. But nowadays, and they migrate from Afghanistan, came live to Quetta or Chaman, Unduz area. So in this time, there is this big population of Pashtun. But that's the land belong from Balochistan. So they call Afghan Muhajirin. So they are living in Balochistan.
Yes. Are you afraid that the people, the Baloch people, and especially the young people, can be tempted more and more by extremist solutions, by extremism, religion, and terrorism?
Of course, yes. Because Pakistani government and Pakistani ISI intelligence is already trying, and they have opened some madrasas to recruit these Baloch youths to make them divert their thinking and their movement into extremism. So of course they are trying their best to counter the Baloch nationalist independence movement by extremism. So that's why we are here to raise these things, what is happening there, to aware the international community, the international world, what is happening there. Go and visit by yourself and find out what is happening there. This is not only for us, this is like a big threat will be for the whole world. Like when the Taliban took Afghanistan in 1994, nobody took it seriously. And they took Afghanistan by the help of Pakistan. Nobody took it seriously. Everybody took it when they attacked on Twin Towers. So before it became too dangerous, I think we are already suffering, but maybe you will be the next.
Oh, c'est un sujet important et sur lequel on pourrait parler toute la journée. You say that after this earthquake, Pakistan is going to supply no aid, whatever. Can we take your word for that? Because, of course, if NGOs, the Red Cross, go there and they see that it is partly true but only half true, it will not be good for your message in general. So can you really say that even in case of earthquake, Pakistan, the Pakistani government does not lift a finger, which, by the way, was more or less what triggered the independence of Bangladesh in a similar situation?
I have told you whatever the situation is right now. Maybe they will help tomorrow, day after tomorrow, but until now there is no help from Pakistani side. No help. We are organizing, our political party is getting some donations throughout Balochistan, internationally from Baloch community, to help those who are affected, and trying our best to help them. We have already problems to helping them because the security agencies and Pakistani government is trying to stop us and not to help the affected people directly because they think maybe it will be shame for them. But they are also not helping. In last night I was watching Pakistani television. They were saying that no nationalists are helping their people. Where are they? They are not helping. We are not a government to help them. We are a small political party and we are not allowed to work openly on ground. Our activists have been abducted, killing every day, torturing. So in this situation it's very hard for us. Of course, for until now there is no help.
Very last question. Balochistan on the map, I have look at the map, I think is the largest province of Pakistan, excuse me, by area. And population is not minute. It's, I don't know, 30, 50 millions, or how many is it?
I think around 10 to 12 million.
Oh, okay. I was told more the other day. Even 10 millions, you don't suppress 10 millions people that easily. So is China aware of the explosive potential of that region and that their commitment there may bring benefits but may also turn sour?
Of course, because China is, as I told you, that China is already exploiting our resources, oil, gas, and Pakistan recently handed over the Gwadar port made by China to the Chinese authorities to run the port. So these type of things will make problems for China, or like Iran is planning to put a gas pipeline through Balochistan, will make problems for them. So they have to consider their decisions or their policies regarding Balochistan. Doing something on someone's land without the consent of the people, I think it's very hard. And only helping the policies of Pakistan, Pakistani government. For the time being, I think the China is always looking for business everywhere in the world. But on the other hand, there are some problems. The business is okay, but if you are doing something on someone's land without the consent of the owners of the land, I think.
So I don't know if there is a last question. So if not, and what do you expect from the Human Rights Commission, Human Rights Council now? What are your expectations?
We hope something comes out because we are already in contact with some human rights organizations, non-governmental NGOs, and some other people in UN to highlight the same things, same problems. So we hope something comes out. Yeah.
Okay. So
And we are trying our best to make this process, to make it speed up more.
yeah. Okay. So thank you very much for this, for all these explanations, and I hope you all the best. Before leaving, I will ask to sign our golden book, and
Thank you very much.
yeah, everybody of you. And I have a little souvenir for you. It's well, it's a knife. It's not in your, maybe in your custom, but here it's the Swiss Swiss
yeah,
knife. That's very known in Switzerland.
yeah.
So that's
Thank
for
you
you,
very
little souvenir for the delegation. Yeah.
Religious cultural change.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Card.
Yeah.
40 persons are chatting about the conference now on our website. You can come and see what people say.
Okay.
Thank you.
So tell